In 7th grade, hope y'all are doing well today. All right, so yesterday was our first online teaching lesson. I know it stressed some of y'all out. It's okay. If you can't do as much as I assign, don't stress about it. Do as much as you can, then just write on Google Classroom or send me an email. Tell me your questions. I'll try to address them in the next day's video. And then that way we can kind of go with it like that. I don't want you to stress over things. I'm going to let you know what things need to be turned in and which ones will be graded. We will have grades. We will have things that we need to turn in on time. So if you know of anybody who hasn't gotten in on Google Classroom, please let me know, or send them a little text or a Snapchat or whatever, and let them know that, hey, we've got some math work to do. Also, 7B, you have some Spanish work to do. So there's a few of you who haven't done your Spanish work, so make sure you're doing that as well. Now, I'm going to go over a few more examples today. Always check the website first for your assignments. When you find your assignments on my website, then you can go ahead and look at Classroom. Everything that you need to do is going to be listed on my website. Now, let's take a look at a few more examples. Today, you're going to be working in your textbook on a couple of same lesson, just in the textbook now. So I'm going to go over this particular problem. This one is on page 280. So this is page 280, number 2. Now, number 2 on page 280 says to show 2 different ways to do this problem. You don't need to show both ways, just do one way, and I'm a happy camper. So let's take a look at this one. Here we have kind of a backwards L shape where you're going to need to break this into 2 rectangles. Now you can break it into rectangles in several different ways. And so that's why they're actually asking you to solve it 2 different ways, because there are several ways that you can actually solve it. I'm going to go ahead and just go with going down this line right here. And I'm going to separate it into this small rectangle here. And then this one here, which I'll do in another color. So the first one I'm going to focus on is this small rectangle right here. And what I want to notice is that I need the lengths of just this rectangle. Now, I don't want to use the 20 because the 20 shows me a length from here all the way to the end over here. Well, I only need the distance from here to here as one of my lengths. I know that the area of a rectangle is length times width. So I'm going to find the length first. So if I only need from here to here, then I can look up at this number and it tells me that it's 8. So I can use that as my length. And then I need the distance for the 2 sides, and that's 9. So 8 times 9 is 72. So I have 72 centimeters squared for this pink rectangle right there. Now, I need to move to the next one. Let's use blue. So here, I'm gonna do the big rectangle now. Oop, okay. Now I have that big blue rectangle. So how am I gonna figure out what the area of this whole thing is? Well, I only need the distance from here to here and then from here to here. So remember, length times width. Well, my width here, it tells me is 12. Again, I don't want to use the 20 because the 20 gives me this extra piece. I don't need that extra piece. So I'm going to use the 12. And then now I need a side. So from all the way down the side. Well, notice that I have the measure right here, from here to here. So I'm going to use the 18. So I didn't even really need to use the 9 in this particular 9 by the way that I cut this rectangle. Was this the only way to do it? Absolutely not. There's definitely another way, and then you would have needed that measurement, but I don't right now. So now for my blue rectangle, I'm gonna say, again, my area is length times width, which is going to be 18 times 12. So I'm gonna go to the side and do my 18 times 12, and 8 times 2 is 16. That's 2 plus 1 is 3. Put your 0. 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. When I add those together, 8 and 3 is 11, I get 216. Sorry, I run out of room sometimes. So now I have 216 centimeters squared. So now I'm not done because I need the area of both of these together, which means I've got to add them. Once I find the area of this one, find the area of this one, now I add them together and I get a total area. So now I will use these two smaller areas and I do 216 plus 72, and I get 288 centimeters squared, or square centimeters. Notice that when I say the units, it doesn't really matter how you say it. You can say squared centimeters, you can say squared feet, squared yards, or you can say centimeters squared. Whenever you see that, it's only talking about the units, not the actual numbers. So you're still gonna figure out how to solve the problem the same way. Don't worry about those units. You're just putting the units behind it, and we're squaring it because it is area. All right, now let's move on to the next problem. Now, in this particular problem, this one is on page 281, and it's number 6. So I'm just gonna do the very first part of it with you, and then after you figure out the area, you can do the part B. So let's take a look. I'm gonna put a little line down here to separate my work. Not as big as my smartboard, huh? So what I notice here is that I have both a rectangle and a triangle. So with my rectangle, which is right here, okay, I can easily see those measurements. To find the area of this particular little rectangle, I'm gonna multiply 10 times 4 and get 40 feet squared, okay? So that's 40 feet squared, or 40 square feet. Now I need to find the area of the triangle. So here is where it's gonna get a little bit more confusing because I've gotta make sure that I have the whole parts. So I know that the area of a triangle, there's my little triangle, is 1/2 the base times the height. Well, I can easily see what the base of my triangle is here. It's 6. That's the easy part. So I'm gonna plug that in. But what I notice here is, look at the height. The height is only from here to here. It doesn't give me the entire height of my triangle. I need this whole thing. The 3 only goes from the bottom to this part, which is 3. But what about the distance from here to the top of the triangle? Well, look at the other side of your rectangle. What does it tell us? It tells us that from here to here is 4. And what do I know about a rectangle? That both of these opposite sides are congruent. So if this side of the rectangle is 4, then this side of the rectangle must also be 4. So that means that now I can figure out the height of my rectangle, because 3 plus 4 is 7. So now the height of my triangle is 7. So now I can figure out the rest of my formula. So 1/2 of 6 is 3 times 7, which is 21. So that's 21 feet squared, or 21 square feet. Now I've got both of these. But remember, I'm not done, because when we're talking about compound figures or polygons or composite figures, all the same name for the same thing, we have to add the two things together. So now I'm going to take my 40 square feet and my 21 square feet, and I'm going to put them together. So 40 plus 21 is 61. So the answer to this problem is 61 feet squared, or 61 square feet. And that's that. Now, there's a couple of problems as I'm looking on this page that you're gonna have to really think about, okay? Number 7 uses graph paper. So you're gonna have to draw the vertices on there. Now, on your book, you can actually draw it on there. But make sure you plot your points. Then you can count the distance to find the area. For number 8, you're going to need to find the area of a quarter of a circle. So it's actually going to be just a piece of a circle where you're going to have to divide by 4 instead of just dividing by 2 like we did yesterday. So just make sure you're focused on what you're doing. If you can't get them all, it's okay, but you got to try, okay? And keep watching the videos. Now, 6th grade is also actually doing the same sort of concept, but theirs is with easier shapes, no circles, and theirs are easier numbers. But if you want some more examples and to see me solving those problems too, watch the 6th grade videos. It should help you as well. And then that way you just have a few more examples of watching the same thing, okay? Make sure you're answering your daily questions, just turning them in, and I will answer as many questions as I can. Y'all are doing a really great job. Don't stress about it. We'll always make sure that you get it, okay? All right, Kaylin wants to say hi.
Hi.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
It's probably almost lunchtime now. All right,
Yep.
So we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. 7 feet.